We like cocktails. Yes, we do. We like cocktails. How about you? How are you doing? And welcome to a little happy hour at home because it is hot out there. It is like peak summer, even with the kids all going back to school. Sorry, kids. Um, I wanted to make something that absolutely reminds me of summer, not the booze, but the blackberries. I mean, my parents used to, I mean, if God forbid you got a blackberry bush on your property, those things are invasive, but they give us deliciousness. Look at the size of these berries I just got yesterday at Trader Joe's. They're enormous. They are so big. And we could use them in the recipe. We will use them as a garnish, which reminds me, didn't get out the garnish mechanism, the picks, bamboo picks that I'll use today. But lemons are also peak summer, and so this recipe comes from actually the 80s. It really seems like something that you might have gotten in a craft cocktail book, from the 20s prohibition era, but it is not so. It actually happened during hey, yes, good vibes always. Hi, hey Russell, how are you? Um, but yeah, it really came to be in the early 80s in London at a bar called Fred's Bar in Soho. At a bar called Fred's Bar in Soho. Yeah, I got that right. Dick Bradsell is the craft cocktail pioneer from London, really. I mean, homage to Dick is what we're paying today because he created this wonderful cocktail, as well as what we have come to know as the Espresso Martini. And that has a great story that involves Heidi Klum that I'll tell you about. But this cocktail was, kind of a riff on, maybe like a gin fizz or something like that. But it uses blackberry liqueur, which is creme de mure, which can be kind of hard to find, which is why I posted a recipe to make your own, which pretty easy. I believe I used red wine, some gin, some sugar, and some muddled blackberries, like a few cups of muddled blackberries that you let soak in all the alcohol before you put it through a sieve, much bigger one than this, and create your masterpiece. It'll last in your fridge. I know I used it for over a year. I know. Hard to believe that was able to keep anything, a bottle of any kind of liquor or spirit or liqueur in the fridge for over a year, but it's all alcohol and sugar at that point, and it will last, honestly, in a well-sealed jar if you have one, like with one of those swing tops, forever. But I did manage to find some blackberry creme de mure at the liquor store, and I got the small bottle because I don't know, it's not that inexpensive. I am going to be using the inexpensive Costco variety London dry gin. Of course, we're going to use the London dry gin because this is a recipe that comes to us from London. Um, and I know that, gin, I would say, I would venture to say that gin is far more popular than vodka in London, in the UK, in Spain, definitely. And I think it's going to have its moment here in the US. One of these days, it's going to be big. But vodka has just taken over. It's one of the most drank spirits here in America. And of course, we're making our own now. We don't have to rely on the Russians or the Ukrainians or the Polish for our vodka. But, you can make this drink with that, I suppose, but it won't be a perfect blackberry bramble. A bramble, of course, is the bush, the with lots of stickies, this very sticky, prickly bush that the blackberries grow on. And God, I used to pick those things like crazy in the summertime. I mean, that was one of the great things about being a kid, right? One of my cousin's kids, very entrepreneurial, he started like picking blackberries on his own and making pies and selling them to people for like 20 or more a pop. Pretty good deal. Okay. So the very first bramble that I had, I like to call this kind of a gateway drug to gin because if you think you don't like gin, maybe you don't like gin, but this is the cocktail that convinced me to give gin a second chance. I was at Noble Crust, a great restaurant in Tampa Bay. And I thought, what the heck? That sounds good. A little blackberry liqueur, a little lemon juice, gin. How bad could it be? And it was fantastic. But I will say, one of the secrets I really believe to this cocktail and some others too is the ice. My sister, Maureen, was awesome enough to get me an ice maker for my birthday, which was just about a week or so ago. And it makes what I like to say, like, it looks like bigger bullets, but like little thumbs or whatever. But the ice, if you can get your hands on pebble ice, that is the bomb, right? Or if you can't, we're going to use some crushed ice. And what I noticed with this ice maker is that I could crush up the little bullets of ice too, and it makes a fantastic cocktail. But without further ado, let's pay homage to Dick Bradsell and make ourselves a cocktail. Now, the trick to this cocktail, I know we always talked about now you're not supposed to shake gin, but we're going to shake it because A, it's Kirkland brand. So how bad could it be? My bottle is a little dusty. So apparently it's been a little while since I've had any gin. And this is the classic recipe. We're going to use 2 ounces of gin, and then we're just going to float the, I almost said Grand Marnier. We're going to float the creme de mure on the top of the cocktail along with the garnish, which is going to be a little blackberries and okay, yeah, that's 2 ounces. Sometimes, and because I didn't get a head start on the lemon juice, always use fresh ingredients, and that's really what set Dick apart, frankly, is that he was using fresh ingredients, whereas like things like Rose's grenadine were very popular. You can make your own grenadine, by the way, like just like you can make your own creme de mure, and it really makes a difference in your cocktails. And it takes you longer to make them, so maybe you won't drink quite as many because you will want to. This is so delicious. Okay, I have my reamer here, my cheap reamer, which I like way better than some of the other tools. If you're just doing like those, I have those ones where they kind of look like a trap, whatever, but I just don't think they work as well as the reamer. Gets out all the juice. Okay, so what did I think up? An ounce is basically 2 tablespoons. So in some places, some recipes, they're calling for tablespoons, which is, I mean, not the measurement of choice when we're talking about cocktails. But that honestly looks like an ounce. And this is just from a half of a super juicy lemon. I brought out my little tiny baby sieve. I don't mind a little pulp, so I'm just going to set that aside. Well, my hand is feeling any cuts and burns right about now. Okay, so let's see. I want to pour just an ounce, but I'm going to do it this way because there's seeds in there and pulp and whatever, as you will notice. Maybe it's not quite no, that's about, well, once I take the seeds out, it will be an ounce. Or maybe I'll just squeeze more. Okay, some of them call for like 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. It really depends on how tart you like it. I mean, the creme de mure makes it nice and sweet, and the herbs in the herbs and the gin make it herbaceous, and then it's tart with the lemon juice for shizzle. You could also throw a couple blackberries in there too if you wanted to oomph the color a little bit, but we're not going to do that. We're going to, let's see, I have the lemon juice, I have the gin in there, and I think, oh, simple syrup. I almost forgot about the simple syrup. And we all know we can make our own simple syrup, right? I have the simple syrup light, which I'm going to use from Master of Mixes. You're probably going to find that at the liquor store versus just even the grocery store, but they definitely have that as well as their fresh squeezed juices, which are not half bad. Okay, it's a little sticky because I've used it before. Okay, so we have an ounce of lemon juice. We're just going to use a half an ounce of simple syrup. Let me get the pulp out of there. I might actually put a little bit more lemon juice in here just to make it solid, but the light simple syrup obviously cuts back on the calories, which we know and love. Okay, yeah, let me do a little bit more lemon juice if you don't mind. I like to roll these on the counter first, cut them in half. Oh yeah, the lemons and like I said, the blackberries are so good right now. So good. What I do with my reamer? Here we go. Everything is a mess, but that's okay because devil's in the details. Okay, yeah, lots of seeds, but that's why we have our little cocktail sieve strainer, if you will. Okay, let's see. Yeah, but Dick, oh my God. The story about how he created the espresso martini, which was I think just called like an espresso vodka when he created it, kind of what we call it now is the espresso martini. But he had Heidi Klum walk in, as legend would have it, and says, "I want something that will wake me up." And if there are children listening, I apologize. Something that will wake me up and fuck me up. And so we add a little espresso to a little vodka, and voila, voila. Okay, so let me do this again. I just want like another half an ounce, I suppose, of lemon juice. Okay, yeah, that's about right. A lot of pulp, which, I don't want to screw it up by putting my fingers in there and grossing anyone out. Hands are clean. Okay, so we're going to shake it, and then I'm going to pour in the, what am I going to pour in? The Creme de Mure, which I just opened up. And I'm going to pour that over some crushed ice that I already crushed from my handy dandy little ice maker. It makes a lot of ice too. I tried to figure out I can't figure out the name of it. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're going to give that a good shake because you really want to mound up the ice as best you can. That's a good summer sipper. Such a good cocktail. Okay, let me get out the ice. I'll show you what I'm working with here. Okay, I crushed up a bunch of it. I just, I'm very particular about the ice, but I'm telling you, it really makes the cocktail. Let me show you the size. And these are the small. This little ice maker makes big and small. Wait, funny thing about ice, they're all kind of frozen together in one clump now. I just wanted to show you the size. These are the small ones. Yeah, but I like the little uniform shape. And we might have to use a little bit of that, but first let me use all the crushed ice that I crushed up last night. Oh yeah. Oh, that's perfect because it's a little mounded, just like I wanted it. I did wash these blackberries. We're just going to do half of a lemon round, if you will. I didn't cut that very well, but c'est la vie. And after this, I'm making these cocktails for my neighbors, one of whom is the retired Marine, but once a Marine, always a Marine. And he told me that he's not really allowed to drink gin anymore. Lord knows what happened there. Maybe I don't even need the little thing, bamboo stick. I don't think so. Okay, let me do this. And if you can't find the blackberry, the creme de mure, you can always use chambord, which is raspberry liqueur, but it's really expensive, which explains why I have the little bottle of it. Okay, that is really cold. Okay, so let's pour that in, and then let's see. What do we have? We're working with a few ounces of liquid here. Okay, it's just about to the top. And ideally, if you could find some short straws or something like that, that would be good. Okay, creme de mure. We just need a half ounce of that. And that's going to provide the blackberry color. And again, but if you wanted to, you could put a couple of blackberries in there and go for it. Just shake it up. Oh, God, that looks just delightful. I think I did it right. Look, Mom. Look, Mom. Okay, now I'm going to try a little bit of that. Mm, that is delicious. That is so good. Mm, mm, and that's the problem with a good cocktail. I could keep on drinking them till the cows come home. Man, that is delicious. I mean, really, what you're getting when you pour it that way is a lot of the de mure up front because it's right on top. Mm, but it's sinking to the bottom, and that is just so good, y'all. That is really an amazing cocktail. And I'm particular about the glassware too. So, you want to put it in a rocks glass like this. Unless, you've got crazy friends, then you can put it in a solo cup for all I care. But yeah, that is delicious and super easy to make. You just need 2 ounces of gin, anywhere from 3/4 of an ounce to 1 ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice. That is very important to a guy like Dick Bradsell and Fred's in SoHo, because that is the way you make it. That is delicious. I mean, we're also spoiled living here at home. And let's see, Michael's checking in. How are you doing, Michael? Cheers to the almost weekend that's here. It's been a really weird week. Just wasn't feeling myself. Couldn't figure out why. This is the first drink I've had since Sunday. Who knows why? Maybe that's why I was out of sorts, because I hadn't had a cocktail in a few days. But All you have to do is shake up those first 3 ingredients, the lemon juice, the gin, and, the simple syrup, and then pour it over some crushed ice, and then drizzle a half ounce of your best creme de mure. I thought about, De Kuyper makes like a blackberry flavored brandy, but not the same. Not the same. I'm telling you, if you want to get the most out of your creme de mure, I don't know what else you can use it in, maybe even desserts or whatever. Um, you can make it yourself just with some red wine, some gin, a bunch of blackberries that you're gonna steal off the neighbor's plant or, off the side of the road or whatever, and, let those marinate, macerate for a little while in the fridge, and then you strain it all out, you mash it up and macerate it for a while, and then it is amazing. It's delicious. But this is pretty darn good, I have to say. Might even be better than the one I made, but I did post the recipe, on both my Facebook profile and my page when we alerted y'all that we were gonna do this. The, Blackberry Bramble. Mm, that is so good. I mean, maybe the ice prevents you from taking it like a shot, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But that is really delicious. And again, I think it's kind of a gateway cocktail for gin resistant people who like a good cocktail, like my sister. She's like, I don't like gin, I don't like vodka. I made her a cocktail with both gin and vodka in it, and she loved it. Although I think it also had some Saint Germain in there, and that elderflower is, I think, really what got her. But what she really likes is a little sweet. I mean, if you're working with a great gin and a great London dry gin, it's so herbaceous. It's delicious. And it's delicate and it's really, really good. Just like this cocktail. Mm. So if you'll pardon me, don't forget the ice. I'm gonna enjoy this cocktail and maybe a couple more. I'm gonna make some for the neighbors and get dinner going. But I hope you guys enjoy what's left of the summer. Lord knows, I think we're all ready for pumpkin spice latte season, at least the weather that makes us want to drink those things right now, because this ain't it. Way too hot, way too hot. Mama doesn't like to sweat like this. We perspire, we don't sweat. So, cheers to the almost weekend. Cheers to the Blackberry Bramble and to Dick Bradsell, who created it for us in the early 80s. Feeling 80s today, and I don't just mean the weather. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.